the biggest way to understand or come and tackle any question under menstruation, right? So any question under menstruation here is what to know exactly what to use. That is the most important thing under this particular topic, right? So here we will demonstrate almost or maybe some of the most important formulas you must know relating to what circle under what menstruation. The key here is that you should know what to use. What I mean by what to use is, let's say this is what a whiteboard marker. I know that if I use this whiteboard marker, I'll be able to write on this whiteboard. Is that okay? But as compared to the permanent marker, I cannot use a permanent marker on this board unless it is what I want to leave it up permanently, right? So this is what a temporary or whiteboard marker. So relating to that is that you should know exactly what to use in solving what one particular problems in what in under what menstruation, right? So let's have a look at this. This is pure about formula avenue. The way of memorizing or the tricks here is that you have to practice. So okay, that is the simple trick. You have to practice using the formulas, and then make sure that you watch the video to the end, whereby I will bring you some pure exams question using some of these formulas. So the first thing that we are going to have a look at is the area of a circle, right? So the area, when you say the area of a circle, it means that per r square, right? So per r square, the per r square, this is just a formula, right? Just know how to use it, know what it does. That is the most important thing. This per here it will be given to you. This is something like a constant, so that was 22 over 7, right? Or maybe 3.142 and so on and so forth, depending on what will be given to you. But should in case you are not giving this pi here, this guy here, this guy is what we call the pi here. So the pi here, that's what 22 over 7 and then r square. So r here is the radius. So if you don't know what a radius is, if you have a circle like this, right? The radius, let's say this is the center. You can just imagine this to be what? A pizza. Is that okay? So this is the center of the pizza here. So any distance from here, let's say you are using your knife to cut or to slice this pizza into some portion from here to here. Is that okay? So from here to here is what we are calling what the radius, and we normally denote that by what r. From the center to the end here is what we call what the radius. So from end to end, right? From end to end here, passing through this center is what we call the diameter, right? So diameter. So this is what we call diameter. Those are some of the things that you have to become familiar with. Remember, I said that from the center to the end here is the radius. It can be from here to here. Once it starts from the center to the end of what this guy here is what we call what the radius. Of course, the rounded side here for this circle is what we call the circumference. Is that okay? So circumference, right? So make sure that you stay here to the end of the video. Sometimes it can be called a perimeter, so don't be deceived. So when I say the perimeter of a circle is the same as what the circumference of the circle, right? Okay, now back to our formulas here. Then we are going to have the next one to be the area of a sector. So the area of a sector here was what theta over 360. So this theta here is what the angle, right? Any angle, all this thing will be given to you unless the otherwise they ask you to find it, right? So this is a theta. So theta can be what any angle on the what that circle, and then multiply by what per r squared, right? So I've already explained this guy. You can see that this is what sometimes they can give you the area of the circle, right? So this you can see that this guy here is the same as what the area of the circle. Is that okay? So the area of a sector here is what theta over 360 multiplied by what per r squared. Now the third one is the area of what the minor segment. So the minor segments of a circle, that is what theta over 360 multiplied by per r squared. So I can see that this guy is just what the area of what a sector. Have you seen how easy it is to memorize the formulas here? So this the first guy here is what theta over 360 multiplied by what per r squared minus what 1 over 2 r squared sine theta, right? Don't let this thing deceive you. You can become familiar with this thing if you practice by solving like 2 or 3 questions. That is just what the way out there. There's no shortcut to this, right? You just need to practice more, solve some 2 or 3 problems, and then you become familiar with what to use. But here's the fourth one. The fourth one says that the area of what the major segment, right? So the area of the major, so we have the minor segment here, and then we have what the major segment. So the major segment, the difference between this minor and the major is just the addition symbol, right? So the minor, as it suggests, is what the subtraction here, and then this guy here is what the major one is what the addition symbol. But remember, look at this one. This is what 360 minus theta divided by what 360, right? And then multiply by pi r squared and then plus 1 over so r squared sine theta, right? All of these things will be given to you. Make sure that you watch the video to the end once again and then see how we can what solve some examples relating to some of these problems here. Now, the last thing under this thing is what the circumference of a circle, right? So when say a circumference of a circle, this is what we are looking for. This is what we are calling. So we call the circumference of the circle. That's what 2 pi r, right? So these are some of the simple definitions or the most important definition relating to circle and what mensuration you have to know. Now let's see how to use some of these problems to solve these exams or questions. According to the question, we are told that the perimeter of what? A circle. So as I said at the beginning of the video, the perimeter of a circle is the same as what? The circumference of what? A circle. So don't be confused or deceived by that word, right? So the perimeter of a circle is the same as what? The circumference of what? That circle is equal to what? 88 centimeters, right? That is what the question told us, that the perimeter of the circle is what? 88. But we know that the perimeter or the circumference of the circle is 2 pi r. Is that okay? So the trick for solving this thing is that if you read one sentence, just write what it means now. So solve this thing step by step, right? So we have this thing to be step by step here. You have to read what I mean by the step by step here. Read one sentence of the problem, write what it means now. So gradually you arrive at the final answer. Is that okay? Before you go to the point whereby they'll ask you to find something. According to this question, we are told to find the length of the chord AB, right? So the length. So we are told to find the length of what. Before you even start solving this problem, just follow the step, right? Read the question one by one, and then follow them. Write down what it means. So what I mean by that is that they say the perimeter or the circumference of a circle. So straightforward, you know that the perimeter or the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r, right? So meaning that the circumference of the circle, which is the 88 being given to us from the question, is equal to 2 pi r, right? You know that this pi here is 22 over 7, right? So 22 over 7, you have 88 is equal to 2 multiplied by the 22 over 7, and then multiplied by what? The r. It's okay. Nobody is asking you to find this or do this, but you have to solve it to get some other information that will help you to solve what exactly they are asking you to find. So here they ask you to find the length here, and then the second one they are asking you to find the area of what minor segment, right? So the minor segment. Is that okay? So minor segment, right? So these are the two things that they are asking us to find. But before then, the information given to you are your key, are your stepping stone for you to solve the solutions of this guy. Okay, now once you do your manipulation, you consider this 7 has to multiply the 88 here, right? So we are looking for this r here. So you multiply the 88 by 7, and then you are going to have 22 multiply 2 multiplied by the 22, that multiplied by the r here. So you just do the manipulation, you consider you are going to arrive at 88 multiplied by 7 divided by 44. And then that is equal to r. So if you do this division perfectly, you should arrive at something that is 14, meaning that this r here is what is 14. So the radius that area is the radius. So the radius here is equal to 14 centimeters. Are you there? Okay, so 14 centimeters. So why are we doing all these radius? Remember, I said that for you to use something, you have to know what exactly they are asking you to do. So here they say you should find the length of what AB as well as the area of what the minor segment. Right. So let's answer the question now. So that is the information that we are having. The next step of the question says that A and B are points on the circumference of the circle such that AB is a chord, right? So AB, what I mean by that, we know that this is the circumference of the circle, right? So the rounded the outside here is the circumference of the circle. So this is what we mean by the chord, right? So this is what we mean. This side here is what we call the chord of. So this A and B are just a point on what this circumference here, and then we are told that this angle is 70 degrees. Is that okay? So if you join everything together, you are going to have 70 here. So here will be what? 14. The 14 here because this is the center. And then from the center to anywhere of the circle, that is what we call the radius. So the radius, as you find so far, was what? 14, right? So 14 centimeters. So this centimeters here is coming from the question because we are told that the circumference of the circle is 88 centimeters, right? So that is the unit. So the radius here is 40, and then this guy here is 70 degrees. But remember, we are told to find the length of what? AB, right? So the length of this guy here, AB. So the length, meaning the distance from here to this guy here, right? So this is a diagram. So moving a little bit away from the circle, we are going towards a plane geometry, right? So maybe let's say something like a plane figure. So this is what a triangle. So for you to find the length of this guy from here to here, you have to know what to use. So what are we using to find the length here? So the only key here, maybe one of the key here is to use either a Pythagoras theorem or a bisecutor, right? So bisecutor. So for you to use that thing, what I mean by the secutor here is what a short form for determining the trig identity, right? So meaning that sine divided by sine is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, and then cos is equal to adjacent over hypotenuse, and then tangent is also equal to opposite over divided by we have a full video on this thing, so make sure that you subscribe to the channel and check the link in the description below, right? Okay, now this is the secutor. The reason why we can use this secutor here, the only way you can use this thing is to have a what? A right angle triangle. So what I mean by the right angle triangle is that one side of your triangle has to be a 90 degrees, right? So if one side of the triangle is not 90, you cannot use this guy. Are you there? So we are going to use this secutor here. So one side of our triangle here has to be on 90 degrees. Of course, none of this side is on 90 degrees because according to the formation, we just saw that this guy here is 70. So what will happen if you divide this guy into two, right? So the line from the center down here will form a 90 degrees. So that was the perpendicular to this line, right? So that's just a technical term. So here is 90 degrees, right? We are doing this thing for us to use one of what this trigger identity. So once you're able to determine one side of what this dimension here, right, from here to here, we divide that into two. If you're able to find one side of the length here, we can determine the whole length, right? The full length here, we can easily determine that. If you divide this guy into two, you can see that the whole of here was 70. So one side will be what? 35 degrees. Do you agree? So everything was 70. So since we are dividing here into two, one side will be 35 degrees. Okay, now you have the 35 degrees here. You also have the here to be 14. So of course, if you I really draw this guy, you can see that here is the angle was here, that was 35 degrees, and then here was 14 here, right? So here also 14 degrees. So which identity can we use out of the secutor here? So if you have the angle here, we want to find this side, right? So this can be right? So means the opposite of what this here will be the opposite. So let's name here C, right? So let's name this guy C. So you have C, B, and then O, right? So well, let's say O, C, and then B. So this side is 14 degrees. Here also 35 here, and then this is C. We want to find this length here. So once we get this here, we can multiply here by 2 to get the whole length. Are you there? So once you have this guy here, we can multiply everything by 2 to have the whole length. Okay, so we can use secutor, right? So here means opposite over hypotenuse. Of course, the angle is here. Look at where the angle is. If you are here, you are facing this side. So this guy will be your opposite here, and then this will be the hypotenuse. So back to the solution here, we are having using triangle OCB, right? So OCB, this is the small triangle that we are using, and then using the secutor, that's the sine, right? So sine here is equal to opposite over hypotenuse, right? So if you are here, this guy will be opposite. So opposite here is what the length of these two guys, that's the C B, right? So from here to here is what is your opposite, so CB. So sine theta is equal to sine theta was the 35. So what I mean by the theta is the angle here. So theta is what 35 degrees, right? So theta is what 35 degrees. Okay, so sine theta, which is what 35 degrees, sine 35 is equal to the length of the CB. So CB is the opposite down here. divided by what the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is the longest side of the triangle, right? So which is of 14 centimeters. So divided by 14. So we just need to multiply both sides by what? By 14. Then we are going to have 14 sine theta is equal to this guy, right? So that is what 8.030 centimeters. Is that okay? So this 8.030 centimeters is what one side. Remember, this is just here, right? From here to here. So the question says you find the whole length, right? The length of what A to B. So if you are able to have one side here, you can multiply everything by 2 to have what the whole length. So multiplying by 2 will give us what that is what 16.063. Remember the question says you should find that to 3 decimal places, right? If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give us a thumbs up for more video lessons. Now let's look at the second part. That says that you should find the area for a minor segment. So if you don't know what a minor segment or who we call a minor segment, how can you solve this problem? That's why this is what make a disclaimer that this is what a formula based topic. Is that okay? You should know exactly who is what a minor segment. What I mean by the who here, the formula that relates to what the minor segment. So of course this minor segment is what theta over 360 multiplied by pi r squared minus what 1 over 2 r squared sine theta. This is very easy once you practice 2 times, right? So 2 or 3 problems here. So the way of using this thing that you have to make sure that all the players are available, right? So what I mean by the players here, that you should know the theta, you should know pi, you should know r, you should know sine theta, right? Of course, if you know these 3 people, you can easily solve this guy here. So where is the theta? Where can we find the theta? According to the question, we are told that the theta was what 70, right? So the whole angle here, that was what 70 from the question. So, okay, the whole angle was 70, so theta was 70, and then we know that the pi is 22 over 7. The period, the r here is what we had the r to be 14. You just need to plug them in, right? How easy this topic is once you know what to use. Is that okay? So they say the area of what minor segment. So the area of the minor segment, that's the theta over 360 multiplied by pi r squared minus 1 over 2 r squared sine theta. The theta is 70, so 70 divided by what 360 here multiplied by pi, which is what that was give a 22 over 7, and the r multiplied by r is 14 squared, right? So for this is just the first part here minus what 1 over 2, right? And then r squared, that's 14 squared, and then sine theta, theta which is 70 degrees, right? So you just need to solve